Let's just get everybody together. Let's get unified. The sky will open. The light will come down. Celestial choirs will be singing. And everyone will know we should do the right thing and the world will be perfect.
I want to further state, as we're in this highly debated political season in which we are now find ourselves, that shortly after the death of Jesus, at about AD 37, there was a young man living on the island of Capri in Rome named Caligula. He was very young, and at AD 37, he was 24 years of age. He was in line to become the president or the emperor of Rome, as they called it, or as it was known in those days. The then leader of Rome at that time was Tiberius. We know him from the Bible. Tiberius, Emperor Tiberius, who reigned over the time and the life and times of the Lord Jesus Christ. Tiberius did. Tiberius died at the age of 78, and Caligula was only 24 when Tiberius died. He then became the leader and president of Rome. At 24 years old, becoming an emperor and having lived in Capri and not in Rome in particular, he became the emperor, the president of the mightiest nation that ever was on the planet at that time. When he came to Rome, Caligula, he came to Rome, he was treated like a rock star. I mean, jubilation broke out in the street. People danced and partied and said, we've got a young man and he is our hero. Look at how handsome he is. Look at how intelligent he is. Look at how wise he is. And Rome just partied and partied and partied and treated Caligula as if he was a rock star, greater than any of the emperors or Caesars that had preceded him. And Caligula took all of this in. But some historians noted that Caligula had no diplomatic experiences. He had no governmental experiences. He had no experience at war or leadership, but the people loved him because he was tall and he was handsome and he was charismatic. And so Caligula became their leader. The historians tell us that 6 months after Caligula entered Rome as a rock star into all of these all-night parties and celebrations that they held for him, that mayhem set in Rome. Within 7 months of his taking the seat of the emperor of Rome, his true nature began to be revealed. The hidden truths about who he was, because nobody really knew him. He just appeared on the scene, and there he was, a beloved and worshiped, if you will, emperor. But within 7 months of his becoming the emperor of Rome, the mightiest nation that was at that time, mass executions by Caligula were ordered. And people were beheaded and executed and thrown to the lions and gladiator fighting for simple things such as infractions of laughing in public, having dinner with your family and friends, and bathing at times when Caligula forbade anybody to take a bath, a natural bath, a shower. If you were found bathing, you were executed, you were beheaded by this wild man who everybody thought was this loving, intellectual rock star. Within 7 months, this is what began to happen in Rome. He began spending Rome's money, its vast resources, like it was water, and taxing everything in Rome, including prostitution. His inexperience with people and their failure to know him before crowning him was Rome's greatest mistake of all of historical Roman emperors. Y'all stand for just a moment. Caligula, young, articulate, charismatic, treated like a rock star, worshiped by the people, placed in charge of the mightiest nation that ever was. Within 7 months, it had become a nightmare because of his inexperience and the fact that people really didn't know anything at all about him. It is reported historically that when these mass executions began, Caligula ordering people to death for laughing in public, that he once condemned a man to die, to be thrown to the lions. And the man, upon being thrown to the lions, declared of whatever the charge was that was leveled against him, declared that I'm innocent. Why am I being put to death? At that point, Caligula is reported to have stopped the execution, pulled the man out of the arena, had his servant cut the man's tongue out, and then throw him back to be executed. This is the kind of man that 7 months earlier had been worshiped as a rock star, had been treated as if he was God himself. Yet, when he became known for who he really was, brought Rome to great tears. You may take your seat. But I want you to take note in this hot political season in which we are living to try to discern historically how should we move. Michael Jordan doesn't play ball anymore, but when he did, he was great. And when the game was tight and on the line, and they were behind or needed to secure the victory with a point or two, and the minutes were ticking off of the clock, the Chicago Bulls made sure that that ball was in the hand of Michael Jordan, not Scottie Pippen, but Michael Jordan, because they knew that if that ball was in the hands of Michael Jordan under pressure, he could deliver. He could win the game. He was experienced, he was tested and proven to deliver under pressure. Michael Jordan was. And when you hand America's future, my friends, over to a man who has no experience, doesn't stand for anything, we need to be very careful. When we hand the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. over to a man who doesn't even look in the direction of the suffering people, we need to be very, very careful of our choices. We're putting the balance of our lives in the one whose hand we do not know, and nor can we trust. Remember Caligula? Remember Rome? Remember the parties? Remember how Caligula was worshipped?